You have that data. Is it from Kiambu? Where from?
We don't want to say because it will appear as if we are.
Okay, let's deal with what is verifiable.
Yeah.
Under your reporting for hospital fees, level 5 hospital is reported to be at 0 in terms of revenue.
Is it true?
So it's not possible to establish that upsurge in mathematical terms.
Sorry, the level 5 is level 4. Level 5 is
Level 5.
no, for the purpose of our bookkeeping, what we call level 5 is actually level 4. So level 4.
Okay.
Yes. Now, for the non-revenue, for the non-revenue, in the year 2022, the amount was 439 million. Then the other 2023, it came to 558 million. Then 2024, it came to 734 million. 2025, it came to 738. And 2026, it came to 806 million. So we believe for those 4 years or so, non-hospital fee has also doubled into 2. We closed at 1.7 billion from a total of 520 million when the year 2022. So we believe also even non-revenue within the 4 years has doubled from 439 to 806 million.
In terms of GCP, where does Murang'a rank out of the 47 counties? I know KNBS does some regular studies.
The last report, which is of 2025, in the year, which was then reporting for 2024 GCP, Murang'a was number 8.
Number 8. Perhaps someone needs to do a study on on-source revenue relative to GCP. I mean, we do tax to GDP at the national level, but we don't have a conversation on revenue to GCP at the county level. My honest view is that you have not optimized your on-source revenue. It is not just an anecdote that Murang'a is rich. I think it's established that Murang'a, because you are talking about, if you were to look at other projects, policy, livelihood interventions, I'm sure you'll tell us what you're doing around tea farmers, around dairy farmers, around markets, around value chains. And if there's productivity, it needs to reflect on your local revenue. I know from a scholarly perspective is something that you can apply your mind to. But we would have expected to see some relationship between what you're collecting and the general wealth that is considered to be in Murang'a.
Chair, you are right. About some few weeks ago, we did that study. It showed that we are collecting 0.4 of our GCP, which will be about, at minimum, 1% or 2%. So even if we were just to collect 1%, our revenue should be at least double on that, because 1% of the stated GCP as at 2024 will be almost 3 billion Kenya shilling. But there are two problems that makes us not reach there, which we have identified. Number one is that Murang'a wealth is mainly agricultural. And you know, agriculture, even national government appreciates, is under-taxed. You know, we don't have cess barriers, so we have so many other areas we don't push in agriculture on account of the political sensitivity in taxing agriculture, unless we get a clever way to tax it at source. That's one. Two, Murang'a ought to urbanize more. We are at 30% rate of urbanization compared to Kiambu, which is now past 50%, so that we are able to push this number up. 3, Murang'a does not have a finance Act, recent one. The last one we put was of 2018. Those are 8 years since we passed our Finance Act. On one hand, that's positive because we are a right-leaning county government that believes in low taxation, and that we believe attracts business. But on the other hand, the negative to that is, of course, we don't raise enough money to defray some of these issues. Maybe as connected to that, land revenue ought to be at about 30% of our total revenue. Currently, when you look land-related revenue, we are at 100 million. That's about 10% or 8% of our total revenue.
It's actually about 77. Yeah, probably 83 million.
I think that excludes building permits. So if you add building permits, it will be about 100 and something. That means in a proper functioning county, we should be at about 30% of our total revenue. We are yet to pass the necessary instruments to push up our valuation role. Once that is done, we believe that amount should at least double, and we push up our revenue. But also, we have another revenue stream which we have opened, Chair. We have learned that we are leasing to people who want to put up industries. As at now, it is a separate revenue item in our books. It's called land leasing. We have currently collected how much? By close of the financial year, we collected 91 million. Our projection is to collect 2 billion this financial year. And all indications are that we might reach that this financial year, the 2 billion that we intend to get from leasing out land. We believe if we get money through leasing land, the 2 billion projected, we might even not have to push up our rate of taxation. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Wambua, Governor, he sounds like someone who's still in the Senate who wants to be a governor.
He sounds the way it should be sounding, right? For your information, Chair, and for just full disclosure, I have actually had the opportunity to go and visit the governor of Murang'a, benchmarking, and I actually even took like 15 members of the county assemblies from Kitui, Makwiny, and Machakos, visit some hospitals and some ECD centers, and we were happy with what we saw. I'm surprised at the documentation, but that's fine. We will deal with it. Now, my question, and I'm not trying to incite you against anyone, Governor, but there's a conversation that is live in Murang'a on source revenue. Chair, you know, there was this the Northern Collector Tunnel that was pouring into Ndakaini and then onward into Nairobi to deal with water crisis in the city of Nairobi. Yeah, that water in this Nairobi, Chair, we don't get it for free. It's paid for, and there was an argument in Murang'a that this is a revenue stream for us. Or why are we not benefiting from it? I don't know whether Governor, that's a conversation that is still going on, or you have decided to donate water to Nairobi for free and then we pay for it. And you see, if you are to go a little harder on that and you get something from it, it will give me some strength to get money from my son in the rivers from Kitui that is building Nairobi. Chair, that is a revenue stream. Actually, that would have raised some money for the county government. I don't know.
You know, I was waiting, Chair, for Governor when he was senator. He was bringing that up so that they can earn something from the Kain Dam. and we were waiting because Mzima is in Taita Taveta and it supplies water to Kwale, Kilifi, Mombasa, you know, and we thought we could get something. But I don't think he went far because I think water is national. My question would be to the governor, you're talking about leasing land for development, for entrepreneurs, but I'm not seeing it here as a revenue stream. You've not disclosed. Why didn't you disclose? Yet you're mentioning some amount of revenue that was gotten from that leasing of land. Number two, Chair, there's a stream and miscellaneous receipts of 6,959,478. There was a dip because comparing it to last year or to the previous year, 23-24, it was 802,633,560. Quite a big dip. What occasioned that dip? And these miscellaneous receipts, what do they constitute?
Governor?
Okay, one, on the leasing, it was not there as at the time of the audit. This is a new revenue stream captured in the subsequent county budget and which was realized as the financial year of 2026 was ending. Remember, it came out of the investment conference that we held on June 2025, where we gave out the lands that we want to lease out, and therefore people, and then we put adverts, and the people who wants to put up factories are paying now. So by the time of this audit, there was no such kind of a revenue. On this other one, these are some payments we usually get that you are unable to clearly attribute them. They relate to what, and we usually deem them as such. This kind of payments will, when they reduce, the better it is, because they show that we are now able to attribute those revenues to specific area. Let me give you an example of such a revenue is, let's say a person will come and pay parking. Instead of paying 70 bob, he pays 200 shilling because it's through phone. Then he doesn't claim it back. So that up amount might be deemed as other related revenue. Maybe allow me to yield to the chief officer to explain how that amount comes.
Okay. We need to be in the house in the next 3 or 4 minutes, so we'll give the CEO 1 minute or two to explain.
Thank you, Chair. For the other revenues, we are still doing some integration with our two revenue collection account, that is Equity and KCB banks. So for Cooperative Bank, we have managed to integrate with our revenue system. So every transaction that happened, it is captured in the system. So for others to appear, mostly it comes as a result of us doing a reconciliation or trying to find out what was this meant for, and sometimes you find that we are not able to attribute that to a certain revenue stream. Thank you.
Fine. We will have occasion to discuss this further, and we can have a lot of observations. You see, if you keep your books well, and we don't have to fight over accuracy of numbers, we can discuss broader policy issues. In this schedule, for example, I was seeing something like betting levy, which is 0. And yet, betting control and licensing is a county function, isn't it? If you go to the 4th schedule, I'm looking at the 4th schedule, beyond the licensing of dogs, we also have the responsibility of betting, casinos, and other forms of gambling, cultural activities, public entertainment, and public amenities, including betting, casinos, and other forms of gambling. The betting industry is a multi-billion industry in Kenya. How is it that none of that goes back into the revenues of county governments? And maybe that's a conversation that we must have between the Senate and the Council of Governors and the national government. Because I know there are betting and gambling parlors in your county. And even where it's done virtually on phone, the question would be, if the national government was to collect a fee on it, can there be a benefit, a structure for sharing with county governments? Because this is clearly a county function. So I hope we'll get to a point where the county assembly will have done their work within the 90 days, where the county executive will not have numbers that are not balancing, so that we can discuss ways of enhancing your revenue or the legislation that is required or the intervention required by of the Senate. The issues that we have not dealt with, we want to ask the Auditor General to look at them comprehensively in the next cycle of audits. But if the committee feels that we need to get the governor to give some commitments and further information, particularly on the trade payables and more so the statutory deductions, the committee will communicate accordingly. At this point, we might not be able to go to proceed much further. EACC, at our last interaction with Murang'a, there was a matter that we asked you to look into. It was the variances between the financial statements and IFMIS and ledger balances. Because I recall the governor came and said that all he could explain, he had already explained. And whatever remained would be subject to investigation. I hope that is on your matrix.
Allow me to check and confirm, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, and as we had already discussed in the morning, we have invited the CEO of the EACC to come before this committee, not just for a 1 hour or 2 hour meeting. We'll have a full day meeting with the EACC, going county by county on issues that we have forwarded to the EACC, and we expect that we're going to get a proper status update. So please prepare a proper status update, get updates from your regional heads, so that we are not told that everything is under active investigation.
Well
In
guided,
the
Chair.
previous meeting that we had, which I chaired, we had suggested that we have side-by-side EACC and ODPP, for the simple reason that at times EACC complains that they have forwarded files to ODPP, but they've come back for more investigation. Now, instead of blaming each other separately, why can't we have them here side by side and we have a conversation?
Correct. So we shall customize the meeting accordingly for us to get results. Honorable members, any closing remarks, or maybe we can just ask the governor to make his closing remarks. Governor?
Thank you, Chair, for calling us for this meeting. We have benefited from your feedback, and we shall do our best to improve on the gaps you have identified.
Thank you. Members will need to spend 1 minute to deliberate on Marsabit. I believe the auditor from Marsabit is here. So this meeting is adjourned. We request the delegation from Murang'a to exit the room, and we just sit for a minute, honorable members, just to minute our conversation.
to your letter reference number. Senate Digak CPAC 2026 dated 17 July 2026 Chair, inviting me to appear before the committee, before the County Public Accounts Committee on Tuesday 28 July 2026 at 10 a.m. to present a detailed status report on the remedial action taken to address the issues raised in the Auditor General reports on the financial statements of the County Executive of Marsabit, the receiver of revenue, and the County Revenue Fund for the financial year 2024-2025 Chair. The Governor, I wish to bring to the committee his attention that this matter was previously the subject of your letter dated 17 June 2026, which had scheduled my appearance before the committee on 7 July 2026. In compliance with that invitation, the County submitted the written management responses on the aforementioned Auditor General reports to the Office of the Clerk on 30 June 2026 ahead of the scheduled hearing. He continues, Chair, pursuant to the invitation, the County delegation traveled the entire distance from Marsabit to Nairobi and arrived in good time for the scheduled appearance on 7 July 2026. On the material day, however, there were no demonstrations in town, which made it impossible for the committee to continue with its sitting. Given the prevailing circumstances and in the interest of the safety and security of both the committee and members and the council officials, it was mutually agreed that the committee could consider and accept the county written submissions, and the county team could accordingly be released. Having regard to the foregoing and to the consideration distance and the resources already committed by the county in honoring the committee, its early invitation, I therefore request the committee to formally close out this matter on the basis of the written submissions and written submissions already accepted, and to correspondingly withdraw the requirements of my physical appearance on 28 July 2026. Final Chair, in regard and for ease of reference, the county wishes to submit the said written responses together with the supporting documents for the committee record. Should the committee require any further clarification on the submission already on record, I remain available to respond in writing or through my designated officers. Chair.
Now, when that letter came, we indicated that we write back to them. Was there any response?
Chair, we responded to this letter in a letter dated 22nd July 2026. However, the entity did not respond.
What was the content of the letter?
Our letter?
Yes.
Reference is made to a letter dated 17 July, requesting that the County Public Accounts Committee consider and accept your written submissions and withdraws the requirements of your physical appearance before the committee at a meeting scheduled to be held on 28 July 2026. This informed me that the committee did not accede to your request and consequently invited to the said meeting, which is scheduled to be held on Tuesday 28 2026. The meeting shall be held in Committee Room 9, second floor, Kang'ata, at 10 a.m. Chair.
When was that letter delivered?
Yes, it was.
When was it received by the entity? Because there must be an acknowledgement.
It was sent via email.
When?
The same day, on the 2nd of July.
I think so that we don't belabor this, on 7th of July, it was Sabasaba. Siaya and Marsabit were supposed to appear before this committee. There was no formal meeting, and therefore it cannot go on record that there was any agreement whatsoever to take written responses. In any case, it is a committee to decide which route to use, and not the client to decide which route to use. So Members, and I think Senator Wambua, this sounds like the letter we got from CS Rebecca Miano in the Roads Committee, where she was saying, I've already given you guys enough. Now, don't ask me to come again. Parliament has the power to compel the production of witnesses and to examine them, and it's not a power that we are inventing. To avoid a long story, why don't we just pronounce ourselves? This guy came on a Sabasaba day. There was no meeting. We expected him to come today. He has not come. Do we summon him or do we reinvite him? Perhaps because the first time the meeting did not take place, it was not because of our fault, and probably it wasn't because of his fault, because it was Sabasaba. We give him, we extend our invitation.
Yes, reinvite, Chair.
Okay, fine. So we shall reinvite. So Auditor General, I don't know whether the entity was had shared with you their responses.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. They shared the responses.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's still the element of public interrogation, which we will, I think when you're doing our next schedule, we shall ensure that they appear before this committee, just like the rest of the other county governors. Fine. The meeting is adjourned, and I think the clerks will give notice of the date of the next meeting.